So guys, if you want to apply for the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, which is the OINP under the Employer Job Offer Stream for international students, then this video will be talking about all the details with regards to that program, how to establish your eligibility, and what will be the steps to apply if you want to apply under this program for your permanent residence. Well, after the recent announcement made by the Ontario province and significant changes under this particular program, this program has gained a lot of traction and a lot of interest by the international students, and hence we believe it is our duty to let you know how to submit an application and probably gain your permanent residence under this program. So guys, please be tuned till the end. My name is Sahil. Guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice here in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So guys, today's video is extremely special because we will be discussing the how to apply step-by-step process for the OINP, Employer Job Offer International Student Stream. Guys, as we all know, OINP or Ontario is by far the most popular province because this is where Toronto is, and Toronto happens to be the hub for a lot of jobs. This is the place where the city of Brampton is. So a lot of people, a lot of folks from around the globe flock around here. Also, this province, the province of Ontario, has the maximum number of colleges as well in Canada. So by default, a lot of international students come here and probably see their futures being built here. But since Canada has had a complex scenario of getting permanent residence, Ontario has always been in the news whenever there are some changes, right? So recently the province made significant changes to this particular program where they changed the kind of eligibility requirements with regards to the education that the students gathered here in Canada, and obviously that led to their international student status. Now in this video we will talk about the basic set of requirements and the steps that you will be requiring in order to submit your file. So guys, overall the steps to apply under this program are very simple. Before you apply for this program, you must establish your eligibility. So go on to the program page, and we will also talk about the eligibility requirements in detail. But you should always go to the streams page. There is a specific document checklist and an employer job offer form that you may want to refer to even if you before think of applying for it, because a lot of students just go by videos or just go by words, and sometimes within these words some important information might get missed. So it is always advisable that you head out to the programs page, go through the list of documents in detail to make sure that you don't miss anything. Overall, the steps of apply are basically two-staged. The first stage is that you should register with the OINP's expression of interest system. After you have confirmed that you're eligible, after you have confirmed your support status from your employer as well, you might want to head out to the programs page. There is a specific grid of points which are also known as the EOI, the expression of interest system, and you will have to check, put in all the information, check a lot of boxes, and then the system will give you your profile number, it will give you your EOI number, and then that is where you're placed in the pool of EOI, okay? Then the province normally holds a lot of draws. The draws keep on going in around the year, and if you are lucky that the draw hits your score, so for example say your point is 70 or 60 or whatever, and the draw is below what your score is, then you will get a nomination request from the province. So that is when you have a certain deadline to upload all the documents. So basically whatever you said in your EY system, you will have to upload all the documents to Ontario. Ontario will take its own time to due diligence to verify all the documents that you uploaded, and then they will get back to you with a confirmation of the nomination. After you receive that confirmation of nomination, that is when you apply for permanent residence with IRCC. Under normal circumstances, you would want to use the PR portal and apply for your permanent residence, be it for yourself or your dependent family members. Everybody will use that portal. Apart from that, the specific eligibility requirements are very simple. So there are three stages of requirements. One, because it's based on a job offer, so a job offer requirement is very specific. Second, because the job offer is provided by an employer, so the employer requirements are also very specific. And then third is the applicant requirements, which is you whenever you are trying to submit your file. So three stages of requirements: job offer, employer, and applicant. Now, with regards to the job offer, you need to maintain that the job offer is full-time and permanent. By permanent, it means that there is no set end date to it. And full-time means you are working at least 30 hours per week, and the annual working limit will be 1560 hours or more. So, you can't say that you were working 80 hours in a week, so you can't take credit for 80. Maximum credit you can take is only 30 hours per week. So, into 52, that's 1560 hours, right? And then it has to be a permanent job as well. Now, apart from that, there has to be a specific knock code that you should be working under. It's normally tier category 0, 1, 2, 3 or NOC 0AB as it used to be prior to 2021. But yes, you should be working in an eligible occupation of 0, 1, 2, 3. Apart from that, the position has to be based in Ontario only. It can be inside GTA or outside GTA, so two bifurcations. But yes, it has to be primarily based in the province of Ontario, and it has to be an urgent and important requirement for the business, which there are set ways to identify that. Also, it has to be above the minimum wage level, the low wage level for the set occupation. Where to find the low wage level? It is there on the job bank. If you go into the report section of wages, there you will find what is the low wage level. So if it is above the low wage level of that job, then you can find yourself eligible under the job offer requirement. Apart from that, the employer requirements are very specific, again based on two bifurcations: inside GTA and outside GTA. So very specific. First basic requirement is that the employer must have been in the business for more than 3 years. That's a very basic requirement. Second is the workplace should be located in Ontario only. That means there should be an office, and it should not be like an employer based in Quebec and trying to place you in Ontario. No, that's not going to work. But it has to be a work setting. The work location has to be in Ontario only. There should be no outstanding claims or any orders made against them. Very specifically, the employer has to be compliant with if any checks that have been made with them in the past. So this is the basic requirement of finding yourself an employer. Additional requirements include revenue requirements and also full-time employee requirements. Now, within revenue, if the employer is located inside GTA, the annual gross revenue, total or annual gross revenue should be above 1 million. And if the employer is located outside GTA, then the annual total gross revenue should be above $500,000, which is $500,000. Apart from that, there are full-time employee worker requirements as well. If the employer is located inside GTA, then the employer must have at least 5 full-time employees, which must be Canadian permanent residents or Canadian citizens. That is specifically within GTA. If the employer is located outside GTA, then there should be at least minimum 3 full-time employees, which are Canadian permanent residents and citizens. And additionally, the employer will have to provide you with an employer form. And this particular form can be found on the Ontario PNP website. So, this particular section, you just go there, there is an employer form. The employer has to fill it, sign it and give it to you so that you can upload it if an invitation comes through. Apart from that, there are specific applicant related requirements as well. So once you have established that your job offer meets the requirements, your employer meets the requirements, then there are your requirements as well, which you should check, which normally includes education, your intention to live in Ontario, then your legal status in Canada, and lastly, you should have the application period as well. Very important is the education requirement. So please, lay a lot of focus on this. You should have completed one of the following eligible education credentials, which will include either an undergraduate degree or diploma that at least takes 2 years if pursued on a full-time basis from an eligible Canadian institution. That means a full-time 2-year degree or diploma. A graduate degree or diploma that takes at least 1 year if pursued on a full-time basis from an eligible Canadian institution. So that is one. A college graduate certificate that takes at least 1 year to complete if pursued on a full-time basis from an eligible Ontario institution. So the keyword is Ontario institution. Okay. Next is a university graduate certificate that takes at least 1 year to complete if pursued on a full-time from an eligible Ontario institution. So guys, please have special focus on Ontario or the Canadian institution. It is used differently, so make sure that you are doing it differently. Apart from that, the basic requirement of any education is that your degree completion should have happened in the last 2 years of submitting the final application. So that means the day you receive an invitation and the day you upload your documents, that should be within the 2-year timeline of you completing your degree. It cannot be beyond 2 years. Okay. Another important key requirement with regards to education is also that you should have completed more than half of your education while living and studying inside Canada. It should not be only remote education that you could have done from your back home country, right? So these are very important education requirements. If you meet them, then you call yourself eligible. Apart from that, you should have an intention to live in Ontario, and that means your work should be here and you should be reporting to the location. And it's not like you are working from Alberta or Saskatchewan for an employer based in Ontario. No, you should be living here, and if you're inside Canada, then for sure you should be living here. If you're not living in Ontario, then at least you need to submit an intent that afterwards you will be continuing to live here. Another important requirement is that you should have a legal status in Canada if applicable. So for example, if you are inside Canada, then you should have been on on at least an implied status or a maintained status, or having an existing status, be it on a visitor, worker, or a study, whatever is applicable. But you should not be out of status in Canada. That's a very important requirement, guys. Now the steps, like I said earlier, these are the basic requirements. So first, like I told you, was the job offer, then came the employer, then came the applicant. Now, as I told you in the beginning of the video, that these are based on EOI scoring system. Now, expression of interest basically means there are certain categories that the province will be evaluating you under. That means they will be giving you points to certain qualification. After you've scored the points, the province will hold a draw, and if you get a score, if you have a score higher than that draw, then you will get an invitation. Now, the important question here is, what will the province give you scores under? So what are the broad overheads of giving scores? The broad overheads includes your job offer tier category, so that holds certain points. Then there are broad occupational category as well, so that also has points. There are wages, status of your work permit, that also has certain points, or if you have a study permit, then that has separate points. Your job tenure with the the employer that you have, that has points. You have your earning history, so for example, earning over $40,000 in the last year, that also has certain points. Your highest level of education, your stream of education, that also has points. Now, Canadian education experience, that will also give you certain points. You have language requirements, and apart from that, you have regional immigration of location of job offer and the location of your studies in Canada. All of these are the overheads where IRCC, where province of Ontario will give you certain points, and then at the end of the profile that these are your points, and then all you need to do is wait for a draw. If lucky, you will get your draw and you'll get an invitation as well. Guys, overall, the international student stream, which is a part of the employer job offer category for OINP, is a very important stream because historically people have used it. Back in the days, back in the past, a lot of truckers also used it. But as the time progressed, as the permanent residence streams, COVID and everything progressed, this became a bit difficult. But finally, the province of Ontario has made progress on this. They have changed the quota, and also there was a news previously that Ontario has asked for a higher control on what kind of people can be brought to Ontario, right? So I believe this is an effort in that direction. Overall, I hope you got very important and useful inputs for your for application. If you still need any help in preparing the file, because we'll be able to do the file for you, and or if you have any specific questions pertaining to your pertaining to your status, please feel free to schedule a consultation with us, and we would be more than happy to speak with you. Once again, we wish you all the best and we really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.